Welcome to That Don't Sound Right. That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you couldn't prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
And I'm Cecil. And we hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," leave us a comment. You're one of us. Enjoy the show. Hey, y'all. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, Dad.
So, do you have any resolutions this year?
This year I'm planning on actually listening to your podcast.
That don't sound right.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is Peter Bielman, and
I'm Cecil. Happy New Year, Peter.
yeah, Happy New Year. This is our podcast, That Don't Sound Right, where we get together and we try to recreate conversation.
Yes.
I got a story for you, actually.
Really?
So I was with some friends. We were together, and we were talking over dinner. And we were talking about history, and we got to the term care package.
Right.
And I said, well, you know what? CARE, C-A-R-E, that's an acronym for something.
Did you know it was an acronym, or did you come up with that?
No. I knew it was an acronym, but I didn't know what it was for.
Right.
And so then we started talking about what it's for. And then someone started to whip out their phone to Google it. I said, I got a podcast about this.
This will break the whole thing if you do this.
Put your phone down. We're going to talk this out.
Right,
We're going
right.
to try to figure out amongst ourselves,
Yeah.
what does care mean?
Right.
Well, at the end of the day, we didn't get it right. We had to
Well,
look it
did the
up.
word come first, or did the acronym come first? Was there a word care prior to care package?
No, it was the acronym is what gave it its.
No, I mean, did the word care exist? Like, could you care for somebody prior to the acronym CARE?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wonder.
I don't know if that
I wonder if the word care came into
was
existence
invented by the
because of
acronym?
yeah.
Oh, I
Because
don't know.
scuba,
right.
that word came into existence because of the acronym.
Yeah.
Scuba didn't exist prior to the acronym.
So we would have never had the phrase "I don't care"
Right.
without the
Care
package
I wonder.
invented in World War II to help.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Oh, either.
Well, anyway, so we eventually had to look it up in Google.
Right.
And so last episode, it's Christmas, and we're talking
Yes.
about Christmas trees.
Right.
And we're speculating the origins of the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you have an answer for us?
I've got an answer for us. So, with the help of National Geographic, of course.
Right.
They're pretty good. But the evergreens were always a symbol of long life. They were a symbol of strength. And they also were a symbol of light and life over death and darkness. Just evergreens in general.
Right.
Now, this particular article says it's actually difficult to pinpoint when the pagan traditions of having trees in your house and evergreens in your house morphed into the Christmas tree. But it all started in Germany.
Right.
However, Latvia and Estonia would make a claim to it also.
First entry.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate on who
Right.
started it, but it's basically the same idea of bringing in a tree
Right.
as a symbol. And
It's interesting.
yeah,
I almost had a that don't sound right moment with the mic.
that would happen.
Well, it has 3 settings on it. I don't have the instructions for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How's it going?
So before I Googled it, I was like, well, I'm just going to try the 3 settings and see what happens.
Well, it's experimentation.
Right. And I couldn't tell a real difference, so I looked it up. But it's just like one's for like conversation, podcasting, one's for instrumental, and one's like it casts a little water net.
Should we let the listeners in on a secret about our setup for this podcast?
You mean you want to describe the studio that you're
We'll
recording in?
save that for another one. But it was when I first came here and we started talking.
Right.
It was not what I expected.
Nor what I expected.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be talking across the table each other with
Yeah.
this nice big mic in the middle.
Right.
And we're kind of in this alcove, huddled around a microphone.
Yeah.
It looks, this is a good origin story. We should take some photographs of this.
I've thought about that. I thought if we ever get like an Instagram account for the podcast, we should show some pictures of the roadside finds.
That's right. Us huddled around a mic on a
the studio.
What is this table we're at now?
Well, this is a laptop board that Christy had when she was in college on top of a like a children's chair.
All right.
Yeah. And the mic's borrowed.
Well, this is the cutting edge for us right now.
I've actually thought that if the podcast really takes off, and just so you know, there's about 10 or 15 of y'all that regularly listen right now.
Really
and maybe 5 of that are people that are associated with the show.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah. And Scott, we appreciate you, man. I wonder if we're going to look back on the early days of the podcast and go, man, that was really raw. That was the original stuff. It's too polished now. I'm not listening to those guys anymore. They're too polished.
We're going to have sound effects and laugh tracks.
Yeah. Bigger, be in a big studio, we'll be spread out. There'll be a bar behind us and stuff. People clamoring to be on the show. We're just like, man, if we could just get back to that chair and the board and the mic. That's when it was real, man. That's when it was raw.
That don't sound right. Well, Happy New Year. So this is a time of new beginnings, a fresh start for everyone.
Right. So
I think.
Yeah. Well. So the calendar rolls over.
Right.
Now, this is January 1st, 2022.
Can't believe it.
And I think the conversation really is. I mean, what does it matter? Why was yesterday last year and today this year? I mean, it's obviously it's chronological time.
Right.
We think we have to keep track of time, but we've put all this weight on this one day that says, okay, the year rolls over at this point.
You're right.
And that you have to, like you said, it's now a fresh start.
Sure.
We make resolutions.
1/1/22.
I don't even know why. I don't even know why we make. I mean, why on that day? I guess it's the fresh, the clean slate, as it were. And so I'm gonna resolve to, as I write the narrative of this year, I'm gonna do a better job. So I resolve to.
Well, maybe it's part of it is that everyone's had a break. So everyone has had a 1 or 2 week break because of the Christmas holiday leading into the new year.
Right.
Everyone's had a 1 or 2 week break. Some people have had 3 weeks, whatever.
Right.
And it was time to rest and to refresh and maybe reflect on the past year. And then you're going back to work. You're going back to your studies, the beginning of the week of the new year. And maybe over time, people have said, "Look, I want to make a fresh start.
Right.
I want to do something different because the year has changed. The last digit of the 4 has changed."
Maybe so.
Did your New Year's resolutions for the year 2000 were they any more significant than the year, say, 2007?
Oh, for the millennial.
Yeah, the millennial. Because you would have thought something would have been much. I mean,
yeah. You would think that would be the millennial.
I don't remember my
millennial
resolutions.
I had that moment where I just kind of looked outside to make sure the world didn't stop, and it didn't.
Right, that's right. Your lights were on.
For those of you that weren't born,
oh yes,
when the clock turned from 1999 to 2000. The computers at the time, and this is
getting deep.
I'm teeing up. That don't sound right. I am teeing it up as well as I ever have because, right, the computers were programmed originally. Most computers, anything that had a chip in it, only went to 1999.
Well, yeah, to be more specific, they only did 2 digits for the year.
Right. They only had the 2 digits.
They only did 2 digits.
So how would we ever survive to do the new millennium?
Well, when you're dealing with a Commodore 64 or a VIC-20, that's you only have 8 bits to deal with.
Right.
You
is that why?
You got to reserve space. You don't have enough room to do all these numbers.
Because you didn't have room?
Yeah. It's the conserved space.
Huh. But everything was that way. Everything had 2 spaces.
And then, once you started, they never had to.
Right. They didn't go back and fix it.
But we had to force the issue when the year 2000 came by.
And so what everybody thought were that planes were going to come out of the sky.
The grid was
cars
going
were going to stop. The grid, because they weren't sure what was going to happen.
Nuclear meltdowns.
Right, yeah.
Everyone was going to be broke.
Yeah.
All your bank accounts would be zeroed out.
Yes. That everything was going to disappear because that the internal clocks
That's right.
could not go.
Because everything was
up.
computerized.
Right. So it'd been at 99. So I guess it would have gone back to 0-0.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was the problem.
Yeah, and if any of the, if there's any calculations that dealt with the year,
Right.
it could zero something out,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Because something times 0 is always 0.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah. So we really thought, well, some people thought Jesus was coming back, the world was going to end, civilization was going to end. It was a little bit of a tense time.
It was
as the clock was ticking toward midnight.
funny story you and I did.
Yeah.
I was at a party
Uh-huh.
and I snuck down
Yeah.
to the utility room.
Right.
And when it hit 2000,
Uh,
I threw the breaker of the whole house.
That's hilarious.
Then I turned it back on.
Right.
But there were some screams.
Yeah, I bet there was. Oh, that's funny.
I
That was really
don't
funny.
wonder if any of our listeners would remember that.
Scott would.
Yeah. No, about me shutting the
really?
house down.
Yeah, they might.
I don't know. I don't know
If you remember, if
I
you're
don't-
listening and you remember, leave a comment.
leave a comment. That's right.
Well, we usually keep these pretty tight. I think have actually gotten to the end of the New Year's episode, but we got some good stuff coming up in the new year. We'll be on season 2
Can you believe it?
of That Don't Sound Right.
Are we going to do anything different for the new year?
I don't know. Just we'll have good episodes. I don't know. We might. We may attempt to add a T-shirt.
That's right. A little merch for
Yeah,
the podcast.
Yeah. So maybe a T-shirt. And if we keep doing it and we gain listeners, maybe we we talked about email place.
Yeah, and you also just mentioned an Instagram account.
Yeah. So man, there are resolutions everywhere for this podcast for the new year.
Something tells me that by the next podcast we'll be saying, "Well, there goes that New Year's resolution."
Right. I need to periodically listen to this during the year. To
We
keep
said
ourselves on
what?
track. Right. Yeah, somebody will say, "Where's our T-shirt?" Maybe we will be well enough off by next year we can have a contest
Oh,
for
well,
like
yeah,
a T-shirt.
sure.
It'd be you get
Yeah.
a free T-shirt.
All right, or you can just rent. You get to wear the T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Right. Maybe we'll have 2 mics. Be sitting at an actual
man.
table. Have a mixer.
Sit across from each other.
Yeah.
Have guests come in.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
about
yeah.
people calling in? We figured that out?
I have seen a mixer that you can call in, and there's yes, I've halfway figured that out.
All right. I'm not sure I can have your questions right now, and I definitely can't handle someone calling in.
Right. Well, the other thing we can do is a live cast
Okay.
where we actually do a live show
Okay. Well,
Say-
from like location, we go
from
somewhere.
location or here do a live show and have people call in.
Well, that's what you probably do.
We should dry run it though and like have Scott have a controlled person call
Yes,
in.
right.
That's what we should do. So
We could revisit the fines.
I think that's
could
definitely got to be a 2022. We got to revisit the fines.
Yeah, because I mean, ever since that episode, I find myself more diligent.
Me too. I thought I had something today.
Really?
Tire pressure gauge.
Oh, okay.
It's busted though.
Well, I'm heading down to Mississippi. I've got 13
man.
hours of roadside fines to keep an eye out on. So my hope is to get at least one of the
Yeah.
big yellow ratchet straps that
Yeah.
Scott likes, and I've added it to his collection.
Good luck. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank y'all for listening, and we will see you next week.
Very good.